Hey guys, it's great to be back with you all again. We're going to be talking about measurement today. Let's go ahead and look at this specific skill. It is going to be 3.7E, and that's determine liquid volume, capacity, or weight using appropriate units and tools. And by the end of the lesson, as I can use tools to measure. Let's go ahead and look at some of the vocabulary associated with measurement. And we're going to be talking about volume, capacity, and weight and mass. When we're talking about volume capacity, the customary, I like to start with fluid ounces. And fluid ounce is approximately what you'd hold in a spoon, the amount of liquid that hold in a spoon. And there's 8 fluid ounces in a cup. 1 cup is approximately the size of a milk carton, like you'd get in the cafeteria. A pint is 2 cups. So a pint would be probably like maybe a little bit larger milk carton, or probably about the size of a smaller water bottle. Okay, a quart. There's 2 pints in a quart, and a quart is approximately the size of a large water bottle. So and there's 4 quarts in a gallon, and a gallon is what you would like you have in your refrigerator. Usually we have gallons of milk. For liters, start off with milliliters. That's the smallest unit of metric volume capacity measurement. And a milliliter is approximately like 6 drops from an eyedropper. And there are 1,000 milliliters in a liter. And a liter is usually, when you think of a larger water bottle, the larger water bottles that we drink out of, probably like your parents have, are liter bottles. Typically the ones we have at school are usually half of a liter, approximately a pint. And a liter is very close to the same size as a quart. For weight and mass, we don't have quite as many for mass, or weight and mass. For weight, we start off with ounces. And an ounce is typically probably about the weight of a slice of bread. And a pound would be approximately the weight of a loaf of bread, because there's usually about 16 slices in a loaf. So a loaf of bread would be about a pound. And a ton is like 2,000 pounds. And a ton is typically something we use to measure a vehicle, or a lot of times like an animal or a whale or something like that would be measured in tons. A very small car would be a ton, or about 2,000 pounds. Typically most people's cars are probably closer to 2 tons. Or 4,000 pounds. And we have the metric, and we use metric, we use grams, different forms of grams to measure mass. And a milligram is very small amount of mass. Typically, you would think of something like just a few grains of salt would be a milligram. And a gram would be closer to like a package of sugar, a sugar packet like your parents maybe use in their coffee or something like that. And a kilogram, which would be 1,000 grams. A kilogram would be like the mass of about a couple of pineapples, or typically maybe more like a dictionary, like a dictionary like you'd use at school, like when you take the STAAR test. Those would be approximately a kilogram. Okay, got a video right here. It's one of the Pearson videos, and it's going to talk about measurement and tools that we use in measuring. Let's get ready and watch the show.
How can you know whether to measure capacity or weight? Let's find out. Carolyn filled a bucket with liquid plant food. She wants to put the bucket on a shelf in the storage shed. What does she need to measure to be sure the bucket will not make the shelf fall off the wall? Carolyn needs to know how heavy it is. Think about the tools and units Carolyn can use to measure the bucket of liquid. If Carolyn measures the capacity of the bucket, she will find out how much the bucket will hold. What units could she use? Carolyn could use cups, pints, quarts, or gallons. Will capacity tell Carolyn how heavy the bucket of liquid is? No, capacity will not tell her how heavy the bucket of liquid is. If Carolyn measures the weight of the bucket of liquid, she will find out how heavy it is. What unit should Carolyn use to measure weight? Carolyn should use pounds to measure the weight of the bucket of liquid to decide if it is too heavy for the weight limit of the shelf. Carolyn measured weight to find out if the bucket was too heavy for the shelf.
Okay, we got some guided practice questions here we're going to go over. Follow along as I read. It says, Miss Jacoby uses a soup ladle to serve chicken noodle soup. About how much liquid does a soup ladle hold? And we have different answer choices. So would a soup ladle hold a gallon? Okay, I would say no on that. A soup ladle would not hold a gallon. A gallon is like a full thing of milk. That's typically what we think of a gallon. Answer choice G, would it hold a quart? Let's say no, soup ladles will not hold a quart. A quart is like probably pretty close to the size of a large water bottle, and a soup ladle wouldn't hold that much. How about a pint? And that'd be no too. That's a smaller water bottle, but still more than what a soup ladle would normally hold. And how about J, a cup? That'd be yes. And typically they serve soup in cup-size bowls. So most soup ladles will hold approximately a cup. Okay, follow along as I read. Eduardo uses a balance scale to compare the weight of 2 cubes. He knows that the weight of cube 2 is 8 grams. So cube 2 is 8 grams. Which statement about the weight of the 2 cubes is true? So answer choice A, cube 1 weighs less than 8 grams. Is that true or false? Yes, I would say that is a true statement because cube 2 looks to be heavier or have more mass than cube 1 because it's tilted that way. So cube 1 would be less than 8 grams. Let's look at answer choice B. Cube 1 weighs 12 grams. True or false? That would be false. Okay, because if cube 1 weighed 12 grams, it would be lower than cube 2 because cube 2 is 8 grams. C. Cube 1 and 2 weigh the same amount. True or false? That is a false statement. If they weighed the same, the balance there would be balanced. They would both be the same height. So that's a false statement. And answer choice D. There's not enough information to compare the weights of the 2 cubes. True or false? That is false. We can tell that cube 1 is less than cube 2 because cube 2 is lower on the balance than cube 1 is. So the correct answer would be answer choice A. Okay, follow along as I read. Chelsea conducts an investigation in science class. She mixes the liquid in beaker A with the liquid in beaker B. What will the total amount of liquid when the 2 beakers are combined? So I see the word combine right there. So I'm going to circle that. Okay, and typically when I think about combining, we're putting them together. It sounds like an addition type problem that we'd solve. So it looks like I would add the liquid that's in beaker A, which is 25 milliliters, with the 50 milliliters that are in beaker B. What is 25 plus 50? Okay, we'll check and see. That would be a 5 in the ones place, and a 7 in the tens place, and the unit of measure is milliliters. So 75 milliliters would be the amount, and that would be answer choice H. Okay, follow along as I read. It says, Marco makes a pitcher of lemonade. If he fills the pitcher to the top mark, how much lemonade does Marco make? And I'm going to look at my pitcher right there, and it doesn't tell me what it is all the way to the top, but when I look at it, what is the intervals on my little line? That's basically a vertical number line. Yep, it looks like they're counting by ones. So starts at 2, so this would be 3. The next one's 4, this one would be 5. That one is 6, the next one would be 7, and the very top one would be 8. Okay, and I'm looking at my my units of measure right there. It has PT. What is PT an abbreviation for? Okay, let's go ahead and look at our math chart over here, and we'll take a look and see what the abbreviation PT stands for. And right here, it looks like PT stands for pints. So PT is an abbreviation for pints. So when I look at my answer choices, say we fill it all the way to the top, that would be 8. That'd be 8 pints, so it'd be answer choice H. Okay, it's time to complete your independent practice. Please take your time, do your very best. I'll go ahead and put a PDF file right after this video. I'd recommend you print it out if at all possible. Typically, students do better if they have the paper in front of them and they work the problems out. But go ahead and make sure you input those answers onto the blue puzzle piece with today's date on there. And take your time, do your very best. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to send your teacher an email or send them a message in Schoology, and we'll get back with you as soon as we can. And like I said, best of luck to you. Take your time, and we'll talk to you later.